So Frank, we were like recording some episodes today and brought up Halloween. Halloween was a couple of days ago, talking about funny shit on Halloween.
Yeah.
And then you brought up like some weird rules, which goes into a broader conversation of like obviously what are the rules of being in that life, right? Don't rat, don't do this, don't do that. But what are like some of the odd ones that you could think of? That's pretty funny.
There's a lot actually. There is, especially in the Italian Cosa Nostra and back home. And when I call home, it's Sicily. That's where I'm from. And one of the things is you can't marry a woman who comes from divorced parents. And I got a story for you on that one. So basically, this guy, he fell in love with this girl, and he was just gotten straightened out. He was a kid, he was like 19, 20, because they get straightened out in Italy really, really young. So the funny thing was he was in love with this girl. There was no way about it. He had to marry her, but he couldn't because divorce is breaking an oath. And if your parents break an oath, what's that say about your wife? She might fucking one day convince you to break your oath with your, which is supposed to be your criminal family, which is the only family, right? In the mob, let's say, per se. So his brother came up with the idea, who was a main guy. He goes, look, her father's dead anyway. I know they were divorced, but her father's dead. How about if we take out the mom and then you marry an orphan?
Oh my God.
And yeah, I know, right? So the guy goes, he's thinking about it. He goes, I really do love her. He goes, I don't know. But he decided not to do it. He goes, I can't kill her mom. Fuck that. You know what? And he just ended up marrying somebody else. But that's one of them. That's one of them. We're talking about the Halloween one, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it started talking about Halloween. Yeah, I mean, did you guys? What did you guys do in Halloween? The usual shit: egg, shaving cream, fucking shit up.
When we were kids, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
We climbed this fucking 3-story building on Fresh Pond Road where the Carl Emma, the German butcher used to
Right,
be.
right. Yeah.
And we went through the back, which was attached to the freight yards. So we would go on the freight yard roof and then climb that roof. So we would climb the equivalent of 12 feet at a time. You understand? We get boosted up because they were like, it wasn't a straight up roof. There was a smaller one and then a bigger one and then a big. By the time we got up there, we had, I'm not kidding now, we had close to maybe fucking 10 cartons each, 10 kids up there. We had about 10 to 20
Yeah.
fucking cartons of eggs. And it rained fucking on cop cars, everything. Cops used to get frustrated because they didn't know we went through the back. They're trying to figure out where we coming from, you understand? So when they start running towards the back, we run towards the freight yards and they don't catch us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
we used to fucking hit everybody. People, my friend's uncle drove a cab for 4 once. My mom used to watch. My mom knew it was us, but I mean, what's she gonna do? So she used to sit on the stoop, which is probably, and she had good eyes. I don't know, about 200 feet away, because we lived on the same block as the 401's taxi service. And she sees this guy named Franco Baccia. She Chubats. He worked for taxi. He was Anthony Siaka's uncle. God rest his soul. I had so much fun with the guy. They hit his fucking car, and instead of him just like keep on going, they hit him twice. The 4-1's car. He gets out. He goes, "It's just see, I'll break your ass, you motherfucker." The more he was getting aggravated, the more eggs were coming down.
Jeez.
By the time they were fucking done with it, with his car, looked like a fucking omelet, bro. But he was so fucking pissed, and he was saying it too. I know who the fuck you are. And
Yeah.
he was just getting fucking dredged.
Yeah, it came to a point when we were like younger, like I guess before we were like 18 or adults, none of the stores would sell eggs on Halloween in the neighborhood. You had to be like, you had to fucking show your ID fucking,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like buy a bunch of shit that would justify buying eggs. They cut the whole fucking neighborhood of kids out of that deal.
I
But did you
mean,
guys have any like back to the weird rules? I don't know. Is there anything weird with
yeah,
Halloween, or
yeah.
is it
Like
a superstition,
gangsters.
or what is it?
Well, gangsters can't dress up for Halloween because that's another one. It's an identity crisis. You're being somebody else. You're looking like a buffoon. We don't look like buffoons. Why the fuck are you gonna dress up like for Halloween? I seen one content creator. He was dressed up as a woman the other day. I was like, you were around people, buddy. Even today, I don't dress, and it's not because it's just. I think I'm better than anybody else, and I'm out of the life, right? It's just I feel weird. You understand? I
I
mean,
understand completely. I have this personal rule, like, where I don't like wearing, like, shirts with other men's faces on, like a shirt with Kurt Cobain's face or like
yeah.
something like that. I used to do that as a kid, but as I got older, I feel like it's a weird thing to do. No offense to anybody, but
Well, this is how I'm going to explain it, how a Sicilian guy would explain it, and then I'm going to translate it back to English. He'd be like, "Ma questo che pazzo, fucking è vestito come una femmina, dai, che minchia with this?" You know, and I just said, "Look at him, he's dressed up like a fucking woman. What's wrong with him? He's part of us. What the fuck does he have in his head?" You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, they get very
yeah,
offended. That's a very offended,
that's
dressed up
fucking
a
funny, dude.
clown. They go, "What are you, a fucking color? You just coming out of fucking circus? Leave that shit
Yeah.
to your wives and your kids. What are you, 5?" You know? Eh, can you see John Gotti dressed up in a fucking costume?
No, no.
No? Some might argue he dressed up as a gangster, right? But he was, so, that don't count. But yeah, that's one of the rules. Now let me think. Perverted shit, like saying perverted shit or coming a little bit fucking backwards out of your mouth or something. Not so much to the point where it gets a little re- repulsive, I guess, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah. Everybody knows the guy that overshares his sexual fucking things, and then you
yeah,
start
that
thinking,
gets tamed after a
yeah.
while. It takes one guy to tell him, "Hey, bro, stop." All right,
But
or
that
call him.
also, as a man, if you're playing that real masculine shit, like I knew someone that would do it. Then we started questioning, wait a second, maybe this guy is not straight at all, and he's just compensating by telling all these fucking wild sexual stories nonstop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, one on one, it's okay. You're sitting next to other guys from other crews or whatever, and this guy just keeps on going. What usually happens is one of the guys tells him, "Bro, all right, when we're by ourselves, I get it, but you know, all that fucking dialogue that happens in The Sopranos all the time. Oh, you see that? Oh, yeah, man. Oh, that is not as vocal as it is. Well, it's TV. I get it, but that sometimes offends some people, like a Johnny Sacks character. Remember him? You couldn't joke around
Oh
like
yeah,
that in front of him.
yeah.
There was guys like that, and they didn't like that shit. This one is true. This one is true. Now, I don't know so much about the Italian, but the Italian Americans hold on to it, and that's oral sex. Women
Uh-huh.
eating a woman out, whatever the fuck you want to call it, eating pussy. Okay, I said it. Um, that is taboo. We had a friend of ours that admittedly said he ate it, so he would go to Patty Catalano's club, and he was actually Vito Guzzo's cousin Johnny. We'll call him Johnny L. And they would give him a plastic cup. They would give him a
Ah,
plastic cup.
well, like a nice espresso in a plastic cup.
No, no, everything. Whatever he drank was in a plastic cup because he went down on a woman. You're not supposed to go
Jeez.
down. Go in their world, women go down only. You understand?
Right, right. You can't be too submissive to the
It's
woman,
a
I
submit,
guess.
yeah, but he
Yeah.
didn't care. He fucking used to say, "Yeah, so what? I ain't just gonna get you did, John? Yeah, yeah." And even though probably everybody in the room did, they would listen to his stories, and he was a funny bastard. He probably still is. And he would say the funny story with John was one time we were at Giannini's, the coffee shop, and I used to hang out with him and Bobby Wizak. We used to go out us three a lot to the neighborhood clubs, like the one I mentioned, Christy Lee's and Cooper's, the one where the King of the Hill, not King of the Hill, King of Queens, was that it? The King of Queens? Yeah, that was called Cooper's. They used to show the outside, but the inside was not the same. It was probably in LA. And we used to go there a lot. We used to hang out a lot. Anyhow, we had a pool table at Giannini. So John came in, and John was always funny. He's a funny motherfucker. So I took the chalk and wrapped it on my finger and told him I had something. You have something on your nose, okay? So I put it down his nose, and we just made him a whole court talking about it. So he had this big blue chalk mark on his nose. They didn't know he had it. And he's holding court. You know, I did this, that, and everything. The other day, and we're just talking shit. So it's like Fabio comes in, he sits down and he wants to laugh, but he just sits down to listen to look at him. Then I don't think Paul was there. I think Fabio was there. It was me, Bobby Wizyak, John, and this is where it gets a little crazy. Vito walks in. That's his cousin. That's his first cousin, you know.
Yeah.
And he looks at him, but he looks at me. He looks at him, and he figured it out. You know, we're fucking with him. So instead of telling him, he comes in on it. He thinks it's funny. He goes, "Hey, John, tell us how you like that pussy, right?" And he puts his tongue right by his mouth with the blue thing on. He starts going like this, and we're hysterical. We're on the fucking floor. He thinks he's being funny, like he's comedy, but it's not. We're laughing at that blue chalk and him, his tongue reaching his nose. And we're on the fucking floor. All of a sudden, he sees it. He looks at me and punches me right in the arm so fucking hard. He knew I did it to him, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the good times. But that's it. That you just it's a
A lot
form
of
of
rules.
weakness. You know, like Uncle Junior. I didn't know you go
Yeah.
down by the
Yeah.
border with the tuna fish. Boy. Yeah,
Anything
that
else? Anything else you can come up with?
yeah. We got the dress. Sing karaoke, singing, just singing. Gangster singing is totally, totally,
Is that
totally.
what? Is that another emulation problem, an identity crisis?
Yes, it's under
What do you
buffoonery.
want to be Dean Martin? You fucking jerk off.
Well, if he sings for all these people at karaoke, can't wait till he sings on the stand. That's there.
Oh my god! Come on.
Yeah, so that's another one. You want to sing karaoke? Um,
Go
that's
to
fine.
Japan.
My uncle, when I came back from the land, my brother had this bar, the Eagle's Nest, and I just introduced karaoke, and we used to pack it in, you know. So I got a little fucking drunk. I would sing sometimes, you know, just to fucking be funny. You know, it's all my friends, like all kids I grew up with. I'm 23 years old. I don't give a fuck. My uncle called me aside. He goes, "I heard you were singing the other night. Don't do that no more." I said, "Okay," and I didn't, you know. But I mean, now I do. I don't give a fuck. I go anywhere. You know what I mean? But that about singing karaoke. Divorced women, we covered that. Be sloppy. We're talking about drunk. Can't be sloppy. Can't be sloppy. You're sloppy once, twice, three times. The Italian Americans make their guys get away with it, especially if they make money. Like TG. He was fucking he was beyond wasted at times, and people would report, but obviously nobody said anything. You know, if it's cold, if it's held between friends, it's all right. It's when people who don't like that stuff come to meet with you and see something like that. I'll give an example. The Grandview Grill where I hung out, we all got fucking feeling nice. Shout out to our guy. What's his name?
Yeah,
He always
yeah.
changes it up.
Sally
Huh?
Bross's second cousin's nephew, whatever name
Yeah,
he's using nowadays.
he'll tell you himself.
He
Fucking, we
knows
were
who he
all.
is.
I mean, you had fucking God rest his soul. I could say now, Sally Bross coming out of the bathroom with this fucking young crackhead he was banging, and fucking he was doing the Harlem Shuffle. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Imagine fucking Messino comes in and you're fucking cooked. You're dead. You know?
Yeah.
But sloppiness. I got warned about that shit a couple of times. Go, don't. So what I started doing when I wanted to drink and get my drink game on, I used to go to Woodside and hang out with the Irish or whatever. I didn't really drink around
Okay.
my neighborhood much, you know, or even go meet up with my brother Joe in the Dominican place because he liked to drink too. So we used to go to he loved the Dominican joints and we used to go there and hang out a lot.
What about sloppy appearance wise? Or like
Yeah,
you go,
that's
this guy always has a fucking dirty clothes. I went to his house. He had dishes piled to the fucking ceiling, and he lives in a fucking rat hole. Like what's
if
going
he's
on?
a drunk, yeah, but if he's not a drunk and he's making you money, you override that shit.
Okay,
That's like
okay.
now if he
Well, you
comes
might
to
tell
us.
him to get a fucking clean shirt or something. I mean, if he's
Well, for the
looking.
most part, when those guys go out to like weddings and stuff, they do dress up. Even they don't, you know, they probably have a suit they wore
Okay.
100 times, but they don't come, you know, especially the maid guys, you know, they don't but there is ones that are very sloppy. Patsy was sloppy. Patty Catalano was sloppy, you know, but
What about the whole tracksuit thing?
that
I know it's a bit of a meme, right? I mean, but we do see pictures of guys wearing the tracksuits, and obviously they're amongst older guys too. Is there like a stigma with that, or it's just like a different generation?
No, I think that was accepted right away, but it was an Italian American thing. We had Mikey Boots in my neighborhood that we called him Mikey Boots. He would wear fucking Sergio Tacchinis and a pair of fucking Italian boots, the pointy ones.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
nice. Sounds like
yeah.
something my dad would do, honestly.
Who was his fashion consultant, right? So, It was crazy. You know, especially during the Baccarat days, we used to go and tell people to close. Me and Mike would do that sometimes. He was my uncle's guy.
Yeah.
So we would go, and there it goes with the fucking Pinot Silvestri.
Yeah.
Um, driving in a car with him, you smell that shit. And you know, the Sergio Tacchini's, the boots, and the fucking he looked like he came out of South Carolina's Italian import place in 1972. Yeah, yeah. So that was that. It was a lot of memories. I don't know. The other one we know, the sleeping with the women, the family, that's
Right.
the ones everybody hear about. A talk over a made guy. Don't talk over a made guy, or don't correct the made guy. It's happened to
Mhm.
me. And I got called to the side too and said, "Hey, you know, I don't give a fuck what I say. I'm always right. You understand that, right?" I said, "Yes." And that was over Anthony Quinn being Mexican or Greek. You know, my uncle Cheech thought he was Greek because he seen him in Zorba, and you couldn't tell him other. Because he was great. Anthony Quinn, he always had the fucking four people behind him kissing his ass, you know, holding court. He had other. I said, he's actually Mexican. And he stopped. No, he's Greek, he told me. I caught on right away. You know what I mean? I said, shut the fuck up, asshole. You know, and I
Yeah.
did. And I did. Oh, the other superstition my uncle had is I couldn't sit on a chair with my arms behind my head. Like if I'm tired,
Mhm.
you know why? He goes,
Um,
that's what you do when you get arrested. He goes, take your fucking hands down.
okay, okay.
You know, so there was a lot I'm just not remembering, but those are ones, the weird ones that we just fucking like um talked about. And in my generation, the new thing became eating ass. You know, fucking guys were eating ass. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right, 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 right. Yeah,
The
yeah.
ass is a human sewer, you jerk offs. We had a fucking whole conversation on Vito Grimaldi's boat with the guys. Vito Grimaldi was just listening. He could smile sometimes when he didn't engage in those conversations at all. Totally that. But you want to talk about no nonsense and Cosa Nostra up and down, straight up a
Uh-huh.
boat, you know, that was him. But he was catching a giggle. I go, you guys are fucking disgusting. I mean, what the fuck? One guy was going, yeah, not if it's clean. What do you bring it to a fucking car wash, you dirty bastard?
Yeah,
I mean, you know, and we were going up. We were, of course, we were a little liquored up, but on the boat, it was
yeah, well,
me,
I
Joe
mean,
Vallejo. We had Nat. Nat was with us, obviously. Friend Pete. I think Pete was the guy who said, yeah, if it's clean." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
well,
Um,
then, that's funny you were talking about it back then. I mean, I'm not to say that people haven't always been talking about it, but if you spent any time on the internet the past 5 years, there's been a bit of an ass eating explosion going on.
yeah, but I'm
It's a
a little
big
ass.
topic. The internet discourse over ass eating has exploded. Not that we're watching ass eating pictures and fucking videos. The internet discourse over the past few years, there's been a lot of talk about ass eating for some reason. I don't know how it started,
Yeah,
but
it's a man has an ass. He gonna eat a man's ass? Yeah, I told him that too. You know, no, all right. So what's the fuck the difference? You know what? If you want to entertain yourself on the other stuff, you know, a woman's private section there, go ahead. You know, um, but when it comes to that, nah, it's just fucking dirty.
all right, ladies and
There
gentlemen.
you go. It's, I
No
told
ass eating,
I
Sammy,
told you this was gonna happen.